I have text messages also that we still mess around still to this day.
Oh, you mighty quiet now, Mr. Nelson.
He's apologizing now because he got caught.
All right.
So I asked for proof because she had lied to me numerous times before and her word isn't really trustworthy, at least for me. So about a week later, she sends me a letter. It looked homemade, Your Honor. I really wish I still had the picture of it.
At that time, and she was seeing more than one person.
But you did have a relationship with Miss Jackson.
It wasn't the kind of relationship that most daughters would have with their father. I considered him as a homie.
The presiding judge sweeps in, all robes and authority, greeting the seated and slightly nervous-looking participants. We're all buckled up for what looks like a roller coaster of a paternity dispute involving not one, but two potential dads. Grab your popcorn, folks. This is going to be a wild ride.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Marsack versus O'Malley and Mestapay.
Thank you, Jerome.
You're welcome.
Good day, everyone. Ms. Marsack, you admit to sleeping with two men at the time you conceived your 11-month-old son, Caden.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you state you're here today for the sake of your baby's future and desperately need to identify his biological father.
Plot twist incoming. Mr. O'Malley isn't buying the Father of the Year mug just yet. He's got doubts galore thanks to Ms. Marsack's past rendezvous. With a furrowed brow, he lays out his hesitations, all while Ms. Marsack counters with a strong hunch that he's the bio-dad. Oh, the suspense is killing us. What's next? You won't believe it until you see it.
You were sleeping with Mr. Mestapay as well.
Right after me and Mr. O'Malley were together, I had met Mr. Mestapay at a party, and we were drinking, and one thing led to another, and we ended up intimate, and I honestly can't remember much of what happened.
Memory lapse or tactical omission? Ms. Marsack's on the spot and drawing blanks about whether she played it safe during those crucial encounters. The court's all ears as the judge probes deeper. This paternity plot thickens by the minute. Who knew a courtroom could feel like a suspense thriller? Don't miss what happens next. It's more riveting than a season finale.
So I asked for proof because she had lied to me numerous times before and her word isn't really trustworthy, at least for me. So about a week later, she sends me a letter. It looked homemade, Your Honor. I really wish I still had the picture of it. So I presumed it wasn't true.
Because you asked her for some type of proof from the doctor.
Yes, Your Honor, I asked for some proof.
And she gave you a letter.
Here comes a curveball from Mr. O'Malley. He recounts the tale of a Facebook bombshell dropped by Ms. Marsack, claiming pregnancy post their fling revival. But he's smelling something fishy, like a homemade pregnancy test kind of fishy. Trust issues are in the air, and we're not just talking about the scent of courtroom coffee. What will he reveal next? It's going to blow your mind.
One day I get this message on Facebook saying that I'm pregnant and you could possibly be the father.
And what were you thinking?
I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know what to think.
So do you remember this encounter, or you don't remember it either?
I remember it.
Cross-country drama alert. Mr. Mestapay recalls the fateful Facebook message while chilling on the West Coast, throwing him into the potential daddy pool. He's sure of the encounter, crystal clear even, and admits protection was totally MIA. The stakes are sky high, and so is our anticipation. What's around the corner? Trust me, it's worth sticking around for.
So it is a real possibility that you could be this child's father?
Yes. I was constantly thinking it could be someone else's, but I wasn't too for sure because I didn't know her that well. It was just a one-night stand. It only takes one time, but...
That's right. That's right.
Grab the tissues. It's heartbreak time. Ms. Marsack lays bare her soul, talking about the loneliness and tough calls she faced during her pregnancy. Decisions, all made while juggling the joys and trials of single motherhood. Her story could tug a tear from a statue, but hold on. The emotional roller coaster is about to hit another loop.
It's very hard. So I stood up and made the decision, to go ahead and do it. I made the mistake of doing what I did, and I have to raise that beautiful child. Since I have no idea who could be his dad, I just said, I'll do it alone. I made the decision, and I did not contact neither one of them.
Mr. O'Malley steps back into the confessional booth, admitting his not-so-hands-on approach due to paternity doubts and not wanting to commute from another state. Mr. Mestapay, on the other hand, is all in, playing dad like a pro. This courtroom is morphing into a soap opera set right before our eyes. And guess what? The next chapter is just around the corner.
So, how have you been in Caden's life?
Your Honor, I haven't been as much as I should have, but I didn't know. I understand Mr. Mestapay has been more of a father to Caden than I have, and I accept that. I was working out of state, so I didn't want to come back to Illinois to raise a child that I didn't know that was mine or not.
And the drama escalates. Ms. Marsack insists there's a family resemblance that can't be ignored. Mr. O'Malley, however, is not seeing any family portraits in his future with Caden. The tension could be cut with a knife. Where will this family feud lead? Stay tuned, because the next twist is a real cliffhanger.
My other two children, I refuse to have my child have a different last name than me and my other children.
When you say you believe in your heart and your gut that Mr. O'Malley is the child's, are there any other reasons? Is it just looks?
No, Your Honor, there is one big reason. My son does look just like his other baby. Mind you, my son is a week older than his other baby.
Drum roll, please. The DNA results are in, and the courtroom holds its breath.
It has been determined by this court that the biological father is Mr. O'Malley.
Big relief, Your Honor. Big relief. Finally got the truth.
I can feel that across the room.
What do you want to do? Would you like to work it out?
You need to step up.
I will.
What a start to the court session. The session begins with everyone taking their seats and greeting the judge. The case, Jackson Jr. v. the Jackson, is introduced. Jerome thanks the judge, and the audience responds with a good day. Hold on tight, the story is just unfolding. Get ready for a roller coaster ride.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Jackson Jr. versus Jackson.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Jackson, you say that 41 years ago, you were falsely accused of fathering a little girl, and that accusation has ruined your life, cost you tens of thousands of dollars, steady employment, and your health.
It's heart-wrenching to hear Mr. Jackson's admission. Mr. Jackson admits he told Ms. Jackson about his doubts when she was young. He clarifies his relationship with her mother and the reason for his doubts. Despite his doubts, he acknowledges some form of relationship with Ms. Jackson, though not a traditional father-daughter relationship. The story takes another twist right after this.
I was like 9 or 10 or 11 years old.
You were having to process that information?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson, did you tell her that young that you thought her mom may have slept with somebody else?
I did tell her I did. I had my doubt that her mom was young at that time and she was seeing more than one person.
But you did have a relationship with Miss Jackson.
It wasn't the kind of relationship that most daughters would have with their father.
Was it?
I considered him as a homie.
Imagine finding out you're on a birth certificate without consent. Mr. Jackson describes the fallout with his wife after she found out about the affair. Ms. Jackson's mother included his name on her birth certificate without his consent. Mr. Jackson insists he never signed the birth certificate or attended any doctor's appointments for Ms. Jackson. The suspense builds as we delve deeper.
I told her it was not my child, Your Honor.
Did you say that because you didn't believe that was your child? Or did you say that because you knew you were married and you knew you were wrong?
At that time, I believed a little both, Your Honor.
Okay, that's honest. I want to know.
Yes.
So did your wife ever find out?
Yes, she did, Your Honor.
And what happened then? Did it break up your family?
For a small period of time, it did, and we got back together.
Who would have thought stuttering could be a family trait? Ms. Jackson's stuttering is discussed, linking it to Mr. Jackson's belief that it is a family trait. An expert, Molly Dale, confirms that stuttering can be hereditary, but varies in severity. Ms. Jackson mentions her mild stutter, attempting to navigate her speech to avoid it. The next part brings more expert insights.
Serious psychological issues in my life to the point to where I've had issues with choosing functional men. I can't choose functional men because I don't know what that looks like.
If I've done anything to hurt you when you were small, I apologize. But I wish you had to let me know way before now and told me.
That was powerful testimony from Mr. Jackson's stepson. Mr. Jackson and Ms. Jackson provide closing statements, reinforcing their beliefs about their relationship. Mr. Jackson's stepson, King David Gabriel Johnson, testifies to Mr. Jackson's fairness in raising biological and stepchildren. He asserts that Mr. Jackson would not have denied Ms. Jackson if he believed she was his daughter. The suspense peaks as we await the DNA results.
Frequently it is. There is a strong genetic component with stuttering. About 60% of people who stutter have family members that stutter as well.
And then she talked about, in her testimony just recently, having to deal with a slight level of stuttering. Is the severity or lack thereof any indicator?
Someone in a family who is severely, profoundly a stutterer, and then you can also have someone that is a mild stutterer as well.
Here comes a twist with a heartfelt letter. Mr. Jackson admits to regretting not taking a DNA test earlier. He presents a heartfelt letter he wrote to the court seeking help. Judge Lake acknowledges the letter and prepares to reveal the DNA test results. The moment of truth is right around the corner.
This is in my hand letter I wrote
May I see that?
I wrote to the court to try to get help.
So you sent this letter to the court in your home state?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
And the letter reads, I don't have any amount that I can offer for compromise because I only get $1,352 a month.
And there it is, the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jackson Jr., you are her father.
The case of Morris versus Brister kicks off with a bang. Mr. Morris confidently claims to be the biological father of the 29-year-old woman, Ms. Brister, standing across the aisle. Meanwhile, Ms. Brister is having none of it, stating she's been fed lies by her mother, Ms. Smith. And oh boy, the plot thickens from here.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Morris versus Brister.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Morris, you say you are 100% certain that you are the biological father of the 29-year-old woman standing across the aisle and want this court to put an end to years of confusion, lies, and doubt. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, here's a twist for you. Ms. Smith drops the bombshell that she and Mr. Morris are currently back together after a whopping 14 years apart. But don't get too comfortable, because despite their reunion, there's still a major paternity question hanging over them. Mr. Morris explains he rushed back to town after hearing Ms. Smith was pregnant with his child. Buckle up, because the drama is just getting started.
What is the status of your relationship right now?
Well, we're back together.
You are?
Yes. We're a couple.
After how many years?
14 years to be precise.
14 years.
Yeah.
And now you're back together.
Yes.
But there's still this paternity issue hanging in the balance.
Whoa, this took an unexpected turn. Ms. Smith confesses she told Mr. Morris that none of her children were his, and she had her reasons. Apparently, she wasn't keen on rekindling their romance. Meanwhile, Ms. Brister shares that she was always told the man on her birth certificate was her father. And just like that, the mystery deepens. And trust me, there's more where that came from.
We had an issue, and she told me to my face that, none of her children were mine. So I left.
So how old was Ms. Brister at this time?
I would say she had to be 5, maybe 5 or 6.
So, Ms. Smith, you remember telling him that Ms. Brister was not his child?
Yes.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. Ms. Brister pulls out an exhibit, a timeline that outlines the conflicting information she's received over the years. She remembers taking a DNA test as a child, but has no recollection of the results. Different men have been suggested as her father, turning her life into a real-life soap opera. And guess what? The confusion is far from over.
That he wasn't my father.
You brought an exhibit for the court?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please.
This is just a timeline of some of the things that she's told me over the years. I've always known the man on my birth certificate to be my father.
Wow, this is heavy stuff. Mrs. Smith tearfully explains that she lied to protect her daughter from the harsh realities of life with Mr. Morris. She wanted to shield her from his criminal lifestyle and the chaos that came with it. The court understands her intentions, but the lies have caused a whirlwind of confusion. Get ready, because the next part is going to hit hard.
That's how I remember.
And then in 2015, your mother tells you that a deceased man, Mr. Woods, could be your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may step back over to the podium, ma'am. This is confusing. It really is.
It's very confusing for me.
And I can see how much that hurts you.
It's hurtful.
Mr. Morris drops a bombshell of his own. While he was locked up, he was served with child support papers, making him believe he was the father. He kept away from Ms. Brister to protect her from his troubled past. Ms. Brister can't help but wonder why neither he nor his family reached out to her all these years. The layers of this story just keep peeling back.
When I remember.
When you remember
her saying that the man on my birth certificate wasn't my father.
So, Mr. Morris, as you look at Ms. Brewster testify and you hear her testimony, how does that make you feel? You've maintained that you thought you were her biological father all along. She's got 4 stories she just presented to the court.
See, I never knew anything about those.
DNA test results. Here comes the moment of truth. Judge Lake reveals the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Morris.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are not her father.
What?
I'm very sorry.
Oh boy, here we go. What an intense start to the court case. The court case begins with everyone being seated and the introduction of the case, Thomas v. Nelson. Ms. Thomas is introduced, and it's stated she had 5 children with the defendant, Mr. Nelson. She claims he cheated and now questions the paternity of their youngest child, Jakai. Buckle up, folks. This ride is just starting.
Ms. Thomas, you claim you spent 6 years in a relationship with the defendant, Mr. Taylor. In return, he cheated on you and is now questioning the paternity of your youngest child, 8-month-old Jakai.
Here comes the heat. Things are really heating up. Ms. Thomas blames the relationship's failure on Mr. Nelson's cheating throughout their entire relationship. She questions why she endured the hard times and tried to make it work for the sake of their children. The judge probes deeper into why Ms. Thomas tolerated the infidelity. The plot thickens.
He cheated on me throughout almost our whole entire relationship. Why wouldn't you want to make something like that work with somebody you had all these years with? He gave up the relationship. I wish it was that easy for me during them times to just throw it away.
It was easy. I asked her, Your Honor, I said, said, are you gonna leave this guy alone? She said no. I even threatened with her. I was like, if you don't leave him alone, I said, I'm gonna go back to North Carolina. She was like, that's on you.
Can you believe this drama? Unbelievable revelations keep coming. Mr. Nelson accuses Ms. Thomas of being unfaithful, citing evidence found in her belongings. He questions her late-night outings and changing behavior. Ms. Thomas responds, asserting she was always there for the children despite the accusations. The tension continues to build.
Ms. Thomas is with another guy?
Yes, that's
How
what
did
I'm
you
trying
find that out?
The dude picture was popping up on her phone.
It didn't start like that. He decided to leave because at that
Why did I
time
leave, though?
we did grow apart.
I used to find stuff in her purse and everything. She'd be like, I'm going to work today. She'd come back and be like, you like this outfit right here? I'm like, yeah, where you going? You work? If anything, I've been here with the kids all day long, all 4 of them.
Oh, this is getting good. What a twist in the narrative. The judge challenges Ms. Thomas on her narrative of a loving relationship against the backdrop of infidelity. Ms. Thomas admits to retaliating against Mr. Nelson's cheating by seeing another man. She insists it was not a pattern, but a response to his behavior. The drama escalates further.
What is this? Why then do you start having other men popping up on your phone?
It wasn't men, it was that one man, not men.
And why? Why did you get in a relationship with this one man? As retaliation for his cheating?
So he seen how I felt all them years he cheated on me. He felt it.
Brace yourself for this one. You won't believe the evidence presented. The judge confirms the ovulation and intercourse dates aligning with Ms. Thomas's testimony. Mr. Nelson is asked if he recalls the dates, but admits he does not. Ms. Thomas continues to assert that Mr. Nelson was the only person she was with during the conception period. The plot thickens even more.
On my tractor, Your Honor,
every time I messed with him, she said that's why every time she had sex with him, that's why she put it on the calendar like that.
In October, it looks like around the 28th is when your cycle begins.
Yes, Your Honor.
That was a bombshell. Mr. Nelson admits to reviewing Ms. Thomas's calendar and finding discrepancies. He recounts Ms. Thomas admitting to past slip-ups. Ms. Thomas defends herself, explaining she was honest and transparent about her actions. The drama continues to unfold.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you remember those dates, Mr. Nelson?
No, I do not, Your Honor. I had went through her phone. She was like, every time I had sex with him, and this is after you left, I started having sex with this guy. So I was like, all right. So then I went back further in her calendar. I'm like, so what's these days for? She was like, because I said, so we was together then when he was doing it. She was like, okay, so well, I had a slip up.
The plot just thickened even more. Ms. Thomas claims Mr. Nelson initially accepted the pregnancy and even announced it to others. She asserts his denial only started after meeting Ms. Campbell. Mr. Nelson tries to justify his actions, citing their ongoing relationship. The story isn't over yet.
Up until the time he met Miss Campbell, that's when he started denying my son. He was cheating on me with her. I didn't know about her until I found out she was calling him through Facebook because we were still messing around even when he was with her.
This story is full of twists and turns. Ms. Campbell, Mr. Nelson's wife, testifies about discovering a video of Mr. Nelson with Ms. Thomas. She describes the moment she realized something was wrong based on their behaviors. Ms. Thomas confirms they were still involved during that time. More revelations await.
I have text messages also that we still mess around still to this day.
Oh, you mighty quiet now, Mr. Nelson.
I'm gonna tell my wife right in front of her, I apologize. My wife already knew about it. She had caught me. It was a video and everything. She caught phone.
He's apologizing now because he got caught.
All right.
What an intense moment in court. Ms. Campbell reveals finding the video dated around the time Ms. Thomas came to Greensboro. She describes her suspicions and the confrontation that followed. Mr. Nelson acknowledges his wife caught him with Ms. Thomas. The tension only increases.
It's a video I found. The video is dated April 3rd, which would have been, the first day or so that she had showed up in Greensboro. All I know is I saw her demeanor when she came around. She was kind of like high-stepping. I'm like, okay, this is a person that's supposedly supposed to be so hurt. Like, why is she grinning? And then I saw his demeanor and he looked guilty.
Another twist in the narrative. The judge emphasizes the emotional toll on all parties involved, highlighting Mr. Nelson's manipulative behavior. She confronts both women about their roles in the ongoing situation. The audience reacts to the revelations. The drama intensifies.
No, I made a slip up.
He had plenty of slip-ups.
He's comfortable from going from wifey side chick.
No, I'm not nobody's side chick because your husband is the one that tells me he wants to leave.
But that makes you a chick. We're legally married.
Wait a minute. No, it does not. No, it does not. He told me he married you out of spite.
No, I did.
Let's get some order. Both of you all confused. He's sleeping with both of y'all, okay? So, look.
Unbelievable what we just heard. Ms. Thomas expresses her desire for Mr. Nelson to leave her alone and focus on his marriage. She reveals his ongoing communication and attempts to reconnect. The judge asks if she brought any proof of these interactions to court. The plot thickens.
I want him to leave me alone, honest. If he's gonna make his marriage work, let your marriage work. I'll try to move forward with my life. He calls me and tells me how much he misses me and wants to be with me. It's not the other way around. And I have messages. And if he wants to be with me—
Did you bring the messages to court with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
That was an intense confrontation. The judge confronts Mr. Nelson about avoiding the conversation and his responsibilities. Ms. Thomas insists on being left alone to move forward with her life. The judge emphasizes the emotional manipulation at play. The story continues to unfold.
I just want him, if he's gonna make it work, leave it alone.
She
Leave
hasn't
me
done
alone.
anything personally to me. In all honesty, everything
Leave
between
me
the two
alone.
of us is strictly emotion, right?
Feel
Some kind
no-
of way.
honestly, I don't feel no way.
But,
Yes, you do.
If you're gonna make your marriage work, leave me alone.
Stop.
What an intense moment in court. The judge reads the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Nelson, you are the father.